as said. Happy New Year. Let's start the new year. I'm going to read a quote. To me, there is no greater act of courage than being the one who kisses first. Hmm. So, I was mentioning in stream before I had started today's stream, I had mentioned a story about one of my DJ friends, and I had mentioned a whole bunch. As a matter of fact, I had referenced the Brady Bunch and made a blasphemous statement about the Brady Bunch and how it could have been a future prediction in blackface form. Let me see if let me look the lyrics to the Brady Bunch theme song. I had referenced Saving Private Ryan. And now, how in the world am I going to mention the cohesion between the Brady Bunch and Saving Private Ryan? Today, we are going to speak on cohesions. We are going to speak on opinions. We're going to speak on ideas that may have appeared as questions. I say, question everything. question everything that questions nothing. In the past, I've sarcastically said, question everything and question nothing. Not only is that redundant, not only is that a sense of sarcasm, because I believe that you should question everything and figure out everything that is questioning nothing. Alright. This is the lyrics from the theme song, The Brady Bunch. Here's the story of a lovely lady who is bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair gold like their mother. The youngest one in curls. Here's the story of a man named Brady, who was busy with 3 boys of his own. They were 4 men living all together, yet they were all alone. Till one day, when the lady met this fellow, and they knew it was much more than a hunch, that this group would somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. Now, why would I accuse the writers and or directors, mind you, this was in the 60s or 70s? Maybe it was a blackface portrayal, prediction of true encounters to appear. Right. Now, the moral of Saving Private Ryan. The movie Saving Private Ryan, directed by Steven Spielberg, is a story about nobility, courage in the face of death, and uplifting messages of hope and unity in times of darkness. The movie tells the story of an army unit sent in to locate and exfiltrate a heroic young soldier, played by Matt Damon, whose brothers were slain in the line of duty, to send him home. I don't know, part of me thinks the kid's right. He asked what he's done to deserve this. He wants to stay here, fine. Let's leave him and go home. But then another part of me thinks, what if by some miracle we stay, then actually make it out of here? Someday we might look back on this and decide that Saving Private Ryan was the one decent thing we were able to pull out of this whole god-awful shitty mess. The movie is about the nobility of sacrifice and the importance of remembering the sacrifices made by others. The movie is also about the importance of the unity and the power of working together to achieve a common goal. Mentioned as a feeling. The movie shows that even in the darkest of times, there's hope, and that people can come together to overcome adversity. The movie is a testament to the bravery and courage of the soldiers who fought in World War II, and a reminder of the sacrifices they made for their country. Now, the parallel that I find between the Brady Bunch and Saving Private Ryan is the sentiment of, rather, not the sentiment, the implication of returning home, and having the responsibility of, maybe raising children and in the midst of chaos, confusion, and love, and bravery, and work, and efforts hard fought on within all senses and truth and matters within the spectrum. I can imagine the relationship between Tom Hanks and Matt Damon in the movie Saving Private Ryan. I can find similar parallels to the mother and the father within the Brady Bunch, and how they came together with purpose and combining purposes for a happy life. I would imagine in the movie Saving Private Ryan, and if you watched it, the truth within the movie Saving Private Ryan, the family unit, as it were, of the soldiers that traveled and fought and navigated with Tom Hanks in searching for Private Ryan. I could imagine, and within the truth of the movie, they were dying to meet Ryan. So, within the Brady Bunch, Brady and the lady, they got married, or became married. I had mentioned my truth within the past of DJing, promoting, hosting shows, co-hosting shows, and so on and so forth. And remembering one of my peers, one of my friends, known similar to me as one of our town, our region's popular DJs, men DJ, and remembering parties, shows that we had played together, that we were both part of, or, part within. I would say not part within, that it shows that we cohesively have played together. I remember, and all my friends remember, that back in the day, he was quite the ladies' man. And in certain senses of the matter, I guess you could say the same about me, but then again, not really, because back in those times, I was not single. So, things are tough and such. I was not single back then. My friend was known as, some people would say, oh, he's a man whore, and da-da-da-da-da. Always, messing around with the go-go dancers and just, rando chicks at shows. And we never, out of our friend group, we would never imagine that he would be one of the first to settle down. As a matter of fact, he had brought the woman that he proposed to. He had kept her a secret. I'm not sure if, because he was worried about what the guys would say, or maybe he was protecting the sanctity of his relationship, which, for this specific character, not only showed improvement, character improvement, but showed maturity and showed a gentle side that we did not imagine existed. We met her and everybody was in shock. The guy that he seemingly had a certain type, and the woman that, his, how do you say it? The fiance. His fiance was overweight and I think she's beautiful. The guys she's overweight, da, da, da. And he didn't care what everybody had to say. It was the first time I saw him get defensive and like ready to, almost ready to fist fight because he loved the woman. He loved this woman, and they're still married to this day. And I'm happy for them. Stickity, stickity. There's many people that found it necessary to mention ennyarodasi. You're seemingly overweight. As a matter of fact, ennyarodasi seems as though you broke the scales. Ennyarodasi, how are we going to balance you out whenever you break the scales? Mm. Maintaining and evolving. And questioning the mindset of sacrifice that my friend had to overcome within facing adversity, the scrutiny of the outside world. That's a part of what we sacrifice in maintaining happiness. And sometimes your happiness is within the causal or within the causal of other people's unstiggity, within people's misery Because, in some instances, society, I would say a lot of instances, society sometimes makes it their job to moderate, individuals' happiness, try to imply that, oh, you'll only be happy, and trying to reconvince you of your truth. That's happened to me, you know. And as an individual who not only is capable of having long-term friendships, long-term relationships exclusively, it's just a sad truth. It's something, that's a part of the struggle within relationships, is not only overcoming the adverse thoughts that are created within your own mind, but also the adverse thoughts that are not thoughts, but adverse implications and reflection of the people, places, circumstances, and situations that make you happy. It, an understanding yin and yang, the force of happiness balances out the forces that question and or could implicate a reason for you to question your own truth. There are more homosexual men and women. Well, I'd say, let's speak on data. There's more homosexual men now than ever. And why do you think that is? If you were to ask me that question, I would say because of the implications publicly commercialized through women, implying that there are certain beauty standards, and if your relationship doesn't meet this certain beauty standard or this certain societal standard, that you're not going to be happy. As a matter of fact, they'll scrutinize your happiness or whatnot. In so many women in the world that act on those impulses, those societal and, beyond societal, it could be perceived, sexist within reasoning, within implying that you're not going to have a happier relationship, or, not only you're implying that people have to, find a relationship that is going to be perfect for them, but then you're also implying that it has to meet, societal standards and things and stuff and such. I would imagine that the men, it creates adversity within one's mentality, because maybe there are some individuals out there that are seeking to not only create happiness for themselves, but create happiness for themselves in a way that the world would accept them. And in, the sense of acceptance, would almost shame an individual for finding something that works for them, for finding something that is good for them. I would imagine that that's the struggle that my friend had to overcome. That was the struggle that I had to overcome before. And so I'm keen in observing where and how individuals or social media figures within society share implications that are not the best. They're not based on experience. They're not based on, it's based on opinion and or a projection of opinion that is in line with a notion that they're willing to, finagle in incepting adverse notions in your mind. Now, it's different, it's different and special whenever these notions are in tandem with your truth. That's as amazing. I have been keen on guarding certain truths. More recently. Mm. So I had began to watch the movie starring The Rock, Black Adam. It was just New Year's Eve. It was just Christmas Eve. On the positive side, Black Adam has some strong moral content. For example, the hero teams up to fight a villain who wants to use demonic powers. They never want to take the evil crown for their own use. Also, during the movie, Hawkman repeatedly tries to convince Black Adam not to kill the villain's henchman. Being an anti-hero is basically exactly like a regular hero, except way cooler. You make up your own rules, and then you break them. Also, alright, we'll read the description. Alright, it says, well, not the description, rather the movie plot. Alright, Black Adam is a corrupted. Alright. Black Adam is a corrupted anti-hero in the DC Comics universe. He was originally depicted as a supervillain and the ancient magical champion predecessor of Captain Marvel, who fought his way to modern times to challenge the hero and his Marvel family associates. However, since the turn of the 21st century, Black Adam has been redefined as an ancient and corrupted anti-hero attempting to clear his name and reputation. In the upcoming movie, Black Adam, he's portrayed as a hero that has villain traits because of his ruthless approach to protecting his homeland. The movie Black Adam has been praised for its moral ambiguity and its willingness to explore the gray areas of morality, according to a review by Robert Ebert. The movie's edge comes from its determination to live in moral gray areas as long as it can. It also comes from the violence which is presented as the inevitable result of characters' personalities, ambitions, and duties, rather than being associated with any particular code or philosophy. Another review suggests that the movie has the courage of convictions, suggesting that violence on behalf of an oppressed people isn't only justifiable, but even moral. Though even moral. Not justifiable, it's moral. On the other hand, the movie guide highlights the strong moral content of the movie. For example, the heroes team up to fight a villain who wants to use demonic powers. They never want to take the evil crown for their own use. Overall, the movie seems to be a thought-provoking exploration of morality and the consequences of violence. The last angel card that I had pulled, first one was curiosity. The second one, forgiveness. I was mentioning forgiveness within traditional respects and within instances that maybe I've yet to mention. Angel wisdom reminds you that challenging people and situations are sent to you as your most important teachers. Without them, your soul would not grow. You must face challenging situations in order to allow and provoke your soul to act, to provoke your soul to try, to provoke your soul to carry out its purpose. And that creates growth through action, through understanding, and through circumstance. Your guidance is to let go of the hurt, resentment, and anger of the past. When you forgive others and yourself, you'll enjoy love. Within your spiritual mind and within the fullness of your spirit and awareness. Ask the angels to help you dissolve your hurt, anger, guilt, resentment. They will take your burdens from you because they love they love you unconditionally. There's nothing to forgive. Love is for giving. I forgive myself and others. I am free. We are free. I believe that within divine language, curiosity popping out before forgiveness. Curiosity implies a lack of knowledge. Within things and stuff and such. I mentioned marriage between individuals, and maybe you can picture an instance in your mind of an individual, or I'm sorry, not an individual, but a happy couple. Typically does not fall into line with what you think a happy couple would be. Happiness is defined through the individual. Though we can be all the same, we're all individuals, and we have these individual experience of life. Then this truth of life within certain experience, and how that grows, Maybe you're monitoring me now. Maybe you didn't predict that I get to pick and choose my destiny. I can pick and choose my future. And I do not have to be influenced by your opinion, by your implication, by your view, by your job, by your career. Because all of that is disposable in the essence of growth. Within the essence of growth, within the essence of change, being inevitable. Predicted for centuries, generations. In preparation for the truth to not only be present, be widely known as lesson, and new circumstance, new situational awareness, and how I can relate that to the sense of Saving Private Ryan. I wonder how certain individuals may think within the truth of today's reality could make one feel the only resident sleeper. And then there's another only resident sleeper on the other side of the world that has the ability, not only the ability, but the truth and relating to the feeling of sometimes I feel as though I'm the only one in the world that could understand me. And then I think about it, and maybe there were people along that has understood that I would meet this part within, or not this part, but this situational, is the situation truth that's special to me, that people have predicted, prepared, and that I kind of shocked by. Not in a bad way. I have instances where I speak as though it's opposite day. Normally, you guys are probably questioning how it is how I feel the truth and implicate, like, all of that in a bag of chips. Yeah, it's sometimes I feel as though my life is a fairy tale. Sometimes it's hard for me to gather the words to formulate the translation of truth as my truth, regardless of how you think about it, how you feel about it. In cohesion with how movies, songs, commercials, have prepared you for my awareness. Sometimes it's funny to be the last person aware. which is, this is played out in my life before. For instance, if somebody, let's say somebody was in love with me, I have always been the last person to think that was truth. That has played true within certain circumstances, that people outside of my awareness are aware of. Oh, things before I am. Does that make me ignorant? No. Does that make me naive? No. It means that you all have provided me with the time, space, and resources for me to fuck around and find out. In the pure sense of the matter. I'm not a cat. I have a interestingly nostalgic way of viewing the world and questioning the world and allowing the world to reveal itself to me. Stiggity. Let me pause real quick because I hear my dog out there getting into the trash. I shall be right back. I'm back. Shall we read some energy? Pull from the middle. Knight of Cups. The Magician. Page of Cups. Six of Swords. Let's have an 8-card read. I pulled 4. My fuzzies are tickling my nose. Alright, I'll read these 4 cards. And we'll pull 4 more. 2. Equal 8. The Knight of Cups. Every card that I pulled came in the upright. The Knight of Cups in the upright represents creativity, romance, charm, imagination, beauty. In a reverse is overactive imagination, unrealistic, jealous, moody. Came in the upright. The Knight of Cups is a knight. A knight rides on a white horse and holds out a golden cup as if he bears a message from the heart. Over his armor, the knight wears a cloak covered with images of fish, the symbol of water, consciousness, and creativity. His helmet and boots are winged, a symbol of an active and creative imagination, and an appreciation for beautiful things. Unlike the Knight of Wands or the Knight of Swords, the horse in the Knight of Cups is not charging forward, but instead moves slowly and gracefully, giving an air of calmness and peace. The horse represents energy and drive. It represents synergy and drive. The background is mostly barren except for trees far away and the river that flows through, symbolizing the power of the emotions and imagination to create a new life force, even where it may seem that there is none. The Knight of Cups is the classic romantic of the tarot deck. He's in touch with his intuition and emotions and uses them masterfully to charm and attract others. He shows compassion and understanding towards others because he's learned to understand his own feelings and emotions. The Knight is kind, caring, and very in touch with his feminine side. He might be found writing a romantic poem to his lover, creating art inspired by his innermost feelings, or appreciating a vibrant sunset with a glass of champagne in his hand. His heart is wide open and he wears it on his sleeve. He shares his love freely with others without constraint or worry. He is in love with love itself. When the Knight of Cups appears in a tarot reading, you thrive on all things beautiful and are inspired by the many creative outlets available to you. While the Page of Cups was inspired by an imaginative idea, the Knight of Cups is motivated by action. You've dreamed about what it is you want to create and now are moving forward with this dream to make it a reality. It may be an art project or something you feel called to do based on your emotions, imagination, and intuition. Be open to exploring your passions and your big ideas. You may find yourself drawn to a particular passion or hobby, and now it's time to turn it into something. While you are in no hurry to reach the finish line, keep in mind that true imagination feeds on action. If you do nothing with your dreams, they will remain just that, dreams, not reality. All knights are on a mission, and this night is humanitarianism, romance, altruism, compassion, and beauty. You have a vision of harmony and are ready to bring it into reality. You're led by your heart and want to see peace for everyone involved. When it comes to making decisions, the Knight of Cups is ruled by his emotions. When this card arrives in a tarot reading, you're making decisions based on how you feel about a situation, rather than what you think. Even if others can't make sense of what you're doing and why, your intuition guides you in everything that you do, in everything that you are. In everything that you are. When in the reverse, a creative project is emerging, and you're not ready to act on it just yet. It came in the reverse, it came in the upright, not in the reverse. I would read that as project emerging. and working toward his readiness to speak on it. Acknowledge it. The Magician card. I pulled the Magician card after the Knight of Cups. The Magician card is the first card in the major arcana, which represents the Fool's journey through life. It stands for power, skill, concentration, creativity, and self-confidence. It signifies that you have the ability and power of the universe, and use your talents and resources to fulfill your desires and make positive changes. It's a sign that the universe is aligning to bring you good luck and opportunities. Him in the upright, representing manifestation, resourcefulness, power, inspired action. Reversed represents manipulation, poor planning, untapped talents. The Magician is the number 1, the number of new beginnings and opportunities, and associated with the planet of Mercury. He stands with one arm stretched upwards towards the universe, and the other pointing down to the earth. His positioning represents his connection between the spiritual realms and the material realms. The Magician uses his relationship to create and manifest his goals in the physical realm. He's the conduit that converts energy into matter. The Magician's robe is white and his cloak is red, representing worldly experience and knowledge. On the table in front of him are 4 symbols of the tarot suit: a cup, a pentacle, a sword, and wand, each symbolizing one of the 4 elements: water, earth, air, and fire. It's also a sign that he has all the tools and elements he needs to manifest his intentions into being. Above his head is the infinity symbol, and around his waist is a snake biting its own tail, both of which signal that he has access to the unlimited potential. And in the foreground is an array of foliage and flowers symbolizing the blossoming and fruition of his ideas and aspirations. In the upright, the Magician is a master manifester. The Magician brings you the tools, resources, and energy you need to make your dreams come true. Seriously. Everything you need right now is at your fingertips. You have the spiritual fire, physical earth, mental air, and emotional water, resources to manifest your desires. And when you combine them with the energy of the spiritual and earthly realms, you'll become a manifestation powerhouse. The key is to bring these tools together synergistically so that the impact of what you create is greater than the separate parts. This is alchemy at its best. Now is the perfect time to move forward on an idea that you recently conceived. The seed of potential has sprouted, and you're being called to take action and bring your intention to fruition. The skills, knowledge, and capabilities you have gathered along your path have led you to where you are now. Whether or not you know it, you're ready to turn ideas into reality. In your quest to manifest your goals, you must establish a clear vision of what you'll create and why before you act. It's not enough to be motivated by ego, money, status, or fame. You need to have a soul connection to your intentions and goals. You're a powerful, creative being. And this is your opportunity to bring higher self-alignment with your day-to-day actions to create the future you want most. Your goals should be in line with your intentions, or your intentions should be in line with your goals. Whether or not it is apparent, into the world around. In reversed, it represents that you're exploring what you wish to manifest. I'll pop the Page of Cups. In the upright, the Page of Cups represents creative opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, and possibility. Reversed represents new ideas, doubting intuition, creative blocks, emotional immaturity. Page of Cups wears a blue tunic with a floral print and a beret on his head with a long flowing scarf. He stands on a shore with wavy sea behind him. Holding a cup in his right hand, surprisingly, a fish pops its head out of the cup and looks at the young man. The fish and the sea behind him represent the element of water and all things to do with creativity, intuition, feelings, and emotions. The unexpected appearance of the fish signifies that creative inspiration often comes out of the blue and only when you're open to it. Page of Cups in upright suggests a new idea or opportunity that has come to you out of the blue. Your creative energy is flowing, and now the question is, how will you express it? Will you snap up this new idea and turn it into something? Or will you let someone else bring it to fruition? It's up to you. Spend time exploring the idea to see if you want to move forward. Page of Cups invites you to have an open and curious mind. Be open to anything, including a fish popping its head out of a cup. It is with a curious mind that you'll discover new aspects of your life and yourself. You'll discover new aspects of life and yourself. Open your mind to all possibilities, especially those of creative or intuitive nature. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Be ready to dream the impossible dream and explore the magic of your fullest potential, even if it seems out of reach. The Page of Cups is asking you to embrace your inner child and believe that anything is possible. As each page asks you to explore a new facet of yourself, the Page of Cups is asking you to explore your creative, emotional self. You may start a new art class, read books about how to express your feelings, or learn more about developing your psychic abilities. Dreamy aspirations race through your mind, and you may find yourself moved by simple things. Don't be afraid to let your feelings show and wear your heart on your sleeve. This card often appears when you're being called to trust your intuition and be open to the multitude of intuitive messages coming your way. Look for synchronicities and signs from nature that will guide you on your path. They may come from unexpected places, or they may not even make sense to your rational mind. Be open to the possibility and ready to discover new aspects of yourself. May not make sense to your rational mind. It's like following the intuitive breadcrumbs. One intuitive clue leads to the next, and the next, and the next clue. And before you know it, you found yourself in a place of full alignment, happiness, and bliss. All by trusting your intuition. All by trusting your intuition. The flow. In a practical sense, Page of Cups can indicate that you'll receive an unexpected and pleasant surprise. Pages are often known as the messenger cards. And with the Page of Cups, you may receive a message related to the emotions, intuition, or creative endeavors of people. It might be the birth of a baby, an engagement, or marriage, a new love interest, or the offer of a new project. It's not a surprise you can anticipate or force. Be ready to receive when the moment comes. In the reversed, the card represents is suggesting that you're keeping your creative inspirations and ideas a secret. You may worry that others will steal your idea or tell you it's destined to fail. Instead, you're choosing to keep your plans private so you can develop them further without the influence of people. It says of others, I say people. If I'm speaking for others, or I'm speaking in regards, in reversed, Page of Cups says you may want to wait until you've moved out of your conceptual stage before sharing it with others. Six of Swords. Given the upright, it represents transition, change, rite of passage, releasing baggage. Reversed represents personal transition, resistance to change, and unfinished business. Six of Swords shows a woman and young child being rowed across a body of water toward a nearby land. Her head is covered, suggesting sadness or loss as she moves away from something in her past. Her child nestles in close to her body, looking for safety and comfort as they make this journey together. In the boat stands six swords, suggesting that the woman and child are still carrying memories or baggage from their past into their future. While the water on the right of the boat is turbulent, the sea ahead is tranquil. This imagery suggests that they are leaving behind a tumultuous situation bound for a more peaceful, supportive environment. In the upright, the Six of Swords shows that you're in a state of transition, leaving behind what was familiar and moving towards the unknown. You might be moving house, leaving a relationship, changing jobs, going through a rite of passage, or a mental shift. This change may be your own doing or forced upon you, and you may feel sad to leave behind what is so familiar to you. However, you know this move is essential for your growth and personal development. The sadness over what you had lost or released will soon be replaced by greater mental clarity and renewed acceptance of change. You will become a better person as a result. The Six of Swords invites you to let go of whatever is holding you back, be it from your past or your present circumstances. Instead, gaze ahead to your future and choose Choose the way most in alignment with your highest good and long-term potential. You'll need to make tough decisions and compromises along the way. See it as a rite of passage. You're headed towards a much better position in life, so long as you're willing to evolve and shed what you no longer need. Do not dwell on what gets left behind. Instead, use this as an opportunity for changing your beliefs about yourself, moving away from whom you used to be and towards whom you want to be. Similarly, the Six of Swords asks you to reflect on any emotional or mental baggage you may carry as you move from one phase to the next. In the boat stand 6 upstanding swords, a sign you're still carrying a heavy weight from your past as you move forward, which might slow your personal growth. These swords may be memories, relationships, habits, behaviors, thought patterns, and beliefs that no longer are serving you. Decide what you need to take with you and what you can leave behind. In reverse represents that you may be going through a personal or spiritual transition or rite of passage. So you can leave behind a relationship, belief, or behavioral patterns that no longer are serving you. This is an intensely personal and private journey. You're working in isolation to make it happen. You've identified what you must release to embrace a new way of thinking and are now bringing it to fruition within your personal life. That's in the reverse. Being equally yoked means being connected to people who share the same spiritual values, goals, and directions as you do. The term comes from the Bible, where it refers to a wooden bar and frame that joins 2 animals for working together. The Bible warns against being unequally yoked with unbelievers, implying that such relationships are incompatible and unstable. Being equally yoked means having a common purpose and agreement with others. Being equally yoked can have several benefits. It means being connected to people who share the same spiritual values, goals, directions as you do. The term comes from the Bible. Being equally yoked, meaning having a common purpose and agreement with others. Some of the benefits of being equally yoked are shared values. Being equally yoked means that you and your partner share the same spiritual values, beliefs, and morals. This can help you build a strong foundation for your relationship and avoid conflicts that arise from differences in values. Mutual support. When you're equally yoked with someone, you can rely on each other for emotional and spiritual support. You can encourage each other to grow in your faith and achieve your goals. A deeper connection. Being equally yoked can help you develop a deeper connection with your partner. You can share spiritual journey and experiences with each other, which can help you grow closer together. Stronger commitment. When you and your partner share the same spiritual values, you're most likely to be committed to each other and your relationship. This can help you weather the storms of life and build a lasting relationship. How can I find someone who's equally yoked with me? Finding someone who's equally yoked with you can be a challenging task. The term equally yoked refers to being connected to people who share the same spiritual values, goals, or direction as you do. 1, you can attend church events. Attending church events can be a great way to meet people who share your spiritual values and beliefs. You can join a small group or you can join a small group and Bible studies to connect with like-minded individuals. 2, online dating sites can be a great way to find someone who shares your spiritual values and beliefs. Some dating sites, such as Christian Mingle, cater specifically to people of faith. 3, be open and honest. When you meet someone new, be open and honest about your spiritual values and beliefs. This can help you avoid wasting time on relationships that are not compatible with your values. 4, pray. Praying for guidance and wisdom can help you find someone who's equally yoked with you. Ask God to lead you to the right person and help you to discern whether a relationship is in line with His will. Remember, finding someone who's equally yoked with you is not just about finding someone who shares your spiritual values and beliefs. It's also about finding someone who's compatible with you in other ways, such as personality, interests, and goals. Take your time, be patient, and trust that God will guide you to the right person when the time is right. What are red flags to look out for in a relationship? There are several red flags to look out for in a relationship. Red flags are a sign that indicates a reason to walk away from a relationship, while yellow flags are less severe. Here are some common red flags to be aware of. Lack of communication. Communication is key in any relationship. If your partner is not willing to communicate with you or avoids talking about important issues, it could be a sign of deeper problems. Lack of trust. Trust is essential in any relationship. If your partner is constantly suspicious of you or accuses you of things without evidence, it could be a sign of deeper trust issues. Controlling behavior. If your partner tries to control your actions, thoughts, or feelings, it could be a sign of an unhealthy relationship. This could include things like monitoring your phone or social media, telling you what to wear, or dictating who you can spend time with. Disrespectful behavior. If your partner is disrespectful towards you or others, it could be a sign of deeper issues. This could include things like name-calling, belittling, or making fun of you or others. Lack of support. If your partner is not supportive of your goals or dreams, it could be a sign of deeper issues. A healthy relationship involves mutual support and encouragement. Abusive behavior. Any form of abuse, whether physical, emotional, or sexual, is a major red flag. If you're experiencing abuse in your relationship, it's important to seek help and get out of the relationship as soon as possible. Remember, every relationship is unique, and what might be a red flag for one person might not be for another. However, if you notice any of these red flags in your relationship, it's important to seriously address them with your partner. How can I address the red flags with my partner? Addressing red flags with your partner can be a difficult and important conversation to have. Here are some tips that might help you. 1. Talk openly. It's important to talk openly with your partner about red flags you've noticed. Use I statements to express how you feel and avoid blaming or accusing your partner. 2. Be specific. Be specific about the red flags you've noticed and how they make you feel. This can help your partner understand your perspective and take your concerns seriously. 3. Set boundaries. Set clear boundaries with your partner about what is and isn't acceptable behavior. This can help you both understand each other's expectations and avoid misunderstandings. 4. Listen actively. Listen actively to your partner's response and try to understand their perspective. This can help you both work together to find a solution that works for you both, or works for both of you. If you're having trouble addressing red flags with your partner, consider seeking help from a therapist or counselor. They can provide you with tools and strategies to communicate more effectively and work through relationship issues. I believe that it's best that you both open the sense of your inner therapist and your inner counselor, and you guys work together within a therapeutic counseling mindset, because often bringing a third party to help address things can often be it could often turn resentment. because you're trying to, explain your point to, sometimes it's healthy to bring in a fresh perspective to help moderate certain essences within the relationship. I have found that could be a causal for concern within the essence of understanding. You and your partner seek a third party to strategize communication effectively and working through relationship issues. Though sometimes bringing in a fresh perspective may create resentment, between both perspectives. So there's not, a one-size-fits-all solution. That's part of the, that's part of the fun part about relationships is navigating new ways to communicate and communicate effectively. Creating stronger and new abilities to navigate effectively through any sort of relationship issue that may be perceived or that may be true to one or both parties within the relationship. Both people, not both parties. Both individuals. Both souls. How you can know if your partner is willing to change their behavior. Observe their actions. Actions speak louder than words. If your partner is willing to change their behavior, they'll take steps to do so. For example, if they have a problem with anger management, they might attend anger management classes or seek therapy. They'll take proper action. 2. Alright, 2. Alright. Have an open conversation. Talk to your partner about concerns and ask them if they're willing to change their behavior. Be specific about the behavior you would like them to change and why it's important to you. Listen to their response and try to understand their perspective. Look for signs of commitment. If your partner is committed to changing their behavior, they will take action to do so. For example, they might set goals, create a plan, or seek professional help. 4. Be patient. Changing behavior is not easy, and it takes time. If your partner is willing to change, be patient and supportive. It requires time. Encourage them to keep going even when it gets tough. If your partner is struggling to change their behavior, consider seeking professional help. Remember, changing behavior is a difficult task, and it requires commitment and effort. If your partner is willing to change, be patient and supportive. If they're not willing to change, it might be time to reevaluate your relationship. Another read, shall we? In cohesion with our read, our ongoing read. My ADHD has had me shuffling the deck as I read. So you split the deck, and then you return the deck. No, you don't return the deck. You split the deck, and then you bring it together. And then you bring it together. Banana. It's a reference from Sesame Street. It's Sesame Street or Pootie Tang. The first card that popped out is the Devil card. Card of the Major Arcana. Four of Pentacles. Knight of Swords. And the Sun card. So far in our 8-card read, we have 3 major arcana cards. In this 4-card read, the Devil, the 4 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and the Sun. The 2 major arcana cards in this read is the first and last card, the Devil card, and the Sun card, are both major arcana cards. Him in the upright, the devil in the upright, represents shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality. Reversed represents releasing limiting beliefs, exploring dark thoughts, and detachment. The devil card shows Baphomet, or horned goat of Mendes, a creature that is half man, half goat. Baphomet originally represented the balance between good and evil, male and female, and human and animal. However, more recently, this figure has been linked to the occult and has become a scapegoat for all things considered evil. The devil has the wings of a vampire bat, an animal that sucks the lifeblood out of its prey. Symbolic of what happens when you give in to your raw desires. He has a hypnotic stare which magnetizes and entrances those who come near him, bringing them under his power. Above him is an inverted pentagram, a sign of the darker side of magic and occultism. He raises his right hand in the Vulcan salute. A Jewish blessing, later made famous by the film series Star Trek. In his left hand, he holds a lit torch. At the foot of the devil stands a man and a woman, both naked and chained to the podium on which the devil sits. They appear to be held here against their will. But look closer and you'll notice that the chains around their neck are loose and could be easily removed. Each has small horns on their head, like the devil's, a sign that they're becoming increasingly like him the longer they stay here. Both have tails, a further symbol of their animalistic tendencies and raw instincts. And the grapes and the fire on the respective tails signify pleasure and lust. The devil card in the upright represents your shadow or darker side and the negative forces that constrain you and hold you back from being the best version of yourself. You may be at the effect of negative habits, dependencies, behaviors, thought patterns, relationships, and addictions. You have found yourself trapped between the short-term pleasure you receive and the longer-term pain you've experienced. Just as the Lover card speaks to duality and choice, so too does the devil. However, with the devil, you're choosing the path of instant gratification, even if it's at the expense of your long-term well-being. In effect, you have sold your soul to the devil. The devil card often appears when you have been tricked into thinking you have no control over your shadow self or these negative forces. And these negative forces, and that you can never break free from their hold. You believe you need it, and you must have it, even if it means going against what you know to be right to obtain it. Deep down, though you know it's to your detriment, and you're only doing yourself and often others a disservice when you cave into these lower needs and desires. To break free of these negative patterns, you need to acknowledge the hold they have on you and the impact they're having on your life. For example, the first step of an Alcoholics Anonymous is an admission. We admitted we were powerless over the alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. When the devil shows up in a tarot reading, see it as an opportunity to bring these negative influences into your conscious awareness, so you can free yourself. Shine your light on the negative patterns that have been standing in your way for so long, and over time, you will loosen the grip they have on you. Given that the devil is a major arcana card, it is unlikely that you will be free from your addictions and dependencies overnight. It may be a reoccurring pattern for you, and it will take a tremendous amount of willpower and strength to free yourself from their influence. But know this, it is possible, and it is up to you to make it happen. On the positive side, the devil can also show a powerful attachment between two people, such as a mom and her newborn, or a new romance, still in its honeymoon phase. Be careful though, because with the devil card, this healthy attachment can turn into an unhealthy codependent relationship if you lose connection with your inner guidance or don't protect your personal boundaries. The devil can also represent sexuality in your wild side. You may be exploring bondage fetishes and your deepest, darkest fantasies. If you can do this within a safe, sacred space, it could be a very enriching experience. However, it has the potential to turn into something that may be unsafe or detrimental to your well-being in the long term. So again, set clear boundaries, choose your partners wisely, and have your safe words ready to go. The devil reversed can often appear when you are on the verge of a breakthrough. You're being called to your highest potential, but first you must let go of any unhealthy attachments or limiting beliefs that may hold you back. Often when you're called to something more, you must deal with your shadows before you can step into this new version of yourself. Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles in the upright represents saving money, security, conservatism, scarcity, control. Reversed represents overspending, greed, self-protection. Four of Pentacles shows a man sitting on a stool beyond the boundaries of his hometown. His arms are wrapped tightly around a coin as if he fears he may lose it if he loosens his grip. He balances another pentacle on his head, impeding his connection with spirit, and two more sit securely underneath his feet. He clearly doesn't want anyone to take his coins. However, because he is so attached to his money, he can't move or go anywhere. He has no one to speak to, not even to the friends and family members in the community behind him. The man finds himself stuck in one place with a singular fixation: wealth. Four of Pentacles asks you to examine your relationship with money. Are you accumulating wealth and investing your money wisely while still enjoying your day-to-day life? Are you desperately clinging to every coin, afraid to spend money or spend your money for the fear that you do not have enough or could lose it forever? In its most positive state, the Four of Pentacles suggests that you've created wealth and abundance by maintaining a steady focus on your goals and acting conservatively. You're attentive to your long-term financial security, actively saving your money and watching your expenses so you can accumulate wealth and live a comfortable lifestyle, not just now, but also in the future. You may consider a savings plan, a family budget, a retirement plan, and safe investments so you can protect what you've accumulated over time and slowly, steadily increase your net worth. Intuition has me wanting to reread the description. He clearly doesn't want people to take his coin from him. However, because he is attached to his money, it is a rarity that he feels that it is rare to have real instance where his soul, where individuals can speak to his soul rather not even friends and family members in the community he's a part of. Understand him, so he feels stuck or within a rare circumstance, because maybe that wealth is the one place where he can feel not alone. He can feel understood beyond the facade or facet maybe being portrayed within the community. That's how I interpreted it. I read it and my intuition started bogging me to reread it, and through a lens of understanding that resonates truth within my understanding and within my translation of the reading. The Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles asks you to examine your relationship with money. Are you accumulating wealth and investing your money wisely while still enjoying your day-to-day life? Or are you desperately clinging to every instance while afraid that you might not have enough, or that you may not feel as though you are enough? And fear that you may lose hold on the only thing that brings you a mental, emotional, spiritual sense of stability within your life experience and within everything that you've maintained and that you've learned. You've maintained a steady focus on your goals and acting conservatively. Is a rare character trait regarded by those who share a conservative truth within society that may not be so conservative. Think something about a conservative outlook or conservative truth within my life experiences, that the world often has ways of trying to taint things that are pure, hence peer pressure, because just as maintaining happiness causes the outside world to create chaos to counteract your happiness, that it plays out the same as far as morals, whenever we live in a society that is more morally unjust than morally conservative, the essence of conservative is counterintuitive within the structure of society. Hence, that's, hence it makes you almost unaware that you being conservative and acting on your conservative morals, ethics, is truly a treasure. And it's not portrayed that way amongst society, because just as the purity of happiness, society sometimes has obsession with trying to taint happiness within an individual, within a community, and so on and so forth. Whenever you can maintain your truth and not allow the cacophony is defined by unharmonious sounds. Understandably so, society. Whenever you're a conservative individual, I am a conservative individual, so I'm speaking from my own truth, that it creates a pull within society to hone in on that, the conservative aspects of myself, and society to offer me suggestive solutions to taint my grasp of moral conservative code, moral conservativeness that has kept me happy. I'm happy being a conservative individual. Some people have to be disciplined to be conservative. It's a character trait. Certain individuals act conservative. And unless you're sincerely conservative, you can spot out insincerities. So it makes it harder to, to feel like to relate morally within recommended suggestive society. You're attentive to your long-term financial security, actively saving money and watching your expenses so you can accumulate wealth and live a comfortable lifestyle. Not just now, but also in the future. So I would imagine now would be a time of recomposing yourself. Whenever you truly are conservative, yet must make actions that have impact on financial security. Whenever you've been conservatively and actively working to save your money and watch your expenses, so you can accumulate wealth, it could be uncomfortable within the comfort of lifestyle, the comfort of, there could be discomfort within change if in your mind you feel alone, or if you feel as though you're making these decisions, and absorbing the impact of outwards implications. I figured it. You may consider a savings plan, family budget, or retirement plan, and safe investments so you can protect what you've accumulated over time, slowly and steadily increase your net worth. However, the Four of Pentacles typically accompanies a scarcity mindset, especially with money and material possessions. Instead of spending your cash and enjoying a comfortable lifestyle, you're choosing to stockpile your finances for fear you might lose it all. Someone might take it away. Your budget may be so conservative or strict that it cuts out many of life's pleasures, including travel, social occasions, gifts, or fun activities. And for what purpose? Purpose of maintaining your pleasure. Maybe travel and social occasions make you feel, maybe internalizing mindset that could be associated with the interpretation of pleasure. I bet you there are individuals out there that interpret popularity as pleasure and not understanding, things and stuff and such. Implications that follow the trend of certain facets within popularity. Deep down, you may realize that you're foregoing happiness and fulfillment in your life because you don't want to spend any of your money, and you sold out for an overly safe approach to life. If this resonates, find a healthy balance between spending and saving so you can enjoy the essence of your labor, so you can enjoy the rewards of your labor. Also, save up for the future. Four of Pentacles can also suggest that you're placing too much value on money and material possessions. Maybe that's how society suggested, suggestively peer pressured you into believing that the sky is not blue. You must maintain your conservative mindset in spite of commercials that suggest that you place value on certain money, certain material possessions. Because the way that it was promoted to you, that will make you happy, that will make you cool, that will make you, that will make you more of a man. It's not the case. He's making you more of a man. Would be the strength of your resilience in spite of however society, your parents, your family, your friends tell you, oh, you have to be, you have to be happy, you have to, and hence statistics slowly becoming more in line with individual essence rather than collective essence. Collective essence of evil. Because, things and stuff and such. You may be attached to material things, allowing possessions to become your life. Literally, what I just said in different words, suggesting that you're placing too much value on the outlook, the perspective, the implied or suggested imagination of others. Sometimes people say things that sound good just so you and your mentality will begin to fall in line with however they want you to view the world. I ask that you combat these implied things because, me and my friends, we joke in realizing that we're strong in our conservative notions. It's not often that you can have popularity, fame, and long-term relationship success. It's a rarity. It requires a very conservative and a very strong conservative mindset, despite the appearance or the movement within a tainted society. There is still ability for purity to be alive and to thrive in these days and times, these generations that lack fortitude, that lack strength. Strength, I believe, coincides with conservative notions. And conservative notions help you to assess your self-worth, not based on how much you have, not based on what you look like, not based on what you drive, where you live, what you eat, based on maintaining your truth in a society that is hell-bent on suggesting lies incepted into your mind, incepted into your reality in order to cause confusion and self-doubt. Because how are you going to maintain and evolve whenever you are allowing your mind to be tugged in all different directions, impeding on your ability to reason and within your free will and what you want to keep sacred, keep true, and maintain and evolve. The 10% battery thing was on the screen. I had to poke it. But it may appear as a catch-22 because as your standard of living increases, so too will the need to work hard to generate income to sustain this kind of lifestyle, leaving you with little time to enjoy your wealth. It's only a catch-22 as you notice your standard of living is being affected by outward influences that can work against generating sustenance within the kind of lifestyle that you wish to live, or that maybe that you're working towards. And in not holding on to your conservative, true, and pure essence, it creates a space within your mind, within your soul, that leaves you feeling as though you've had little time to enjoy your wealth. Don't become so attached to the world and what the world has to say, or what the world implies towards your life, your decisions, your choices, because that's a part of your happiness. And if you allow the insight, the outlook, the implication, the opinions, the suggestions, the lies, if you become attached to all of these outward notions, that goes against the essence of conservatism, because you're conserving what's pure to you, what's true to you. in allowing the lies of the lies of society to create a catch-22. That's the only way that I can interpret that, what I just read. Because if you become attached to the opinions and suggested guesses of friends and family, your happiness and love becomes a catch-22 within your mind. And you allow your ability to hone into that love, that happiness that is true and that's there, to be misinterpreted within your own mind, because you have become attached to the notions of the community that doesn't necessarily resonate with your truth in the first place. So if you can realize that you are changing, it may be more apparent to those that care for you and love you, to notice that you are not so keen on holding on to your conservative notions because some chick in a freaking bikini that has had no life experience, that has, who knows the truth beyond the, what is presented to you. Is that cool? No, that's honestly pathetic. That is pathetic. To allow the likeliness of an unstable person on the screen in a bikini, face full of makeup, hair did just so they could create a blasphemous scene of what a woman is. Hence, we have men that do not necessarily trust, like, or, women, because, in all senses of the matter, that's how the majority of the women act and think now, because the majority of people do not have any sort of conservative thoughts. They don't care about sanctity, purity. They don't care about the things that bring a broader sense of security within yourself. Beyond money, beyond wealth, beyond appearances, all that. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to let your mind, if you're going to let the essence of who you are become disenfranchised within playing into the rhetoric of a person in a bikini or a person in a crop top that tells you this is how life is, this is how you should be, and you start conforming to the likeliness of individuals that do not have your best interests at heart, let alone things and stuff and such. We live in a society that is more entrenched in promoting deception influencing a conservative society to open their mind to the broad, unessential outlooks of that which is promoted by non-qualified individuals. And, I'm aware of implications. After all, you've already established a way of living that works for you. Change creates a chance for you to maintain evolution rather than maintain stagnancy within an outlook or a perspective that is not going to be forthcoming for you, that's not going to be within your best interest. And maybe you're holding on to the purity of truth that's within your best interest. And that's a part of struggle within a relationship. If you're in a relationship that, brings out the best in you and spiritually, beyond implications, or you can't have feelings or understanding for this person if you didn't if you didn't do this or acted this way. Don't let people tell you what your truth is, because often I witness people, I witness the suggestive degeneracy has become a certain science within the science of social structure and social order. This is what we are combating, and what we've been combating. And any suggestion of doing things differently, therefore, becomes a causal of concern amongst community. Isn't that interesting? Therefore, you should not be stressed with being met with resistance. Because if it's, without resistance, you cannot build muscle, you cannot build strength. It is the resistance and fighting against the resistance of opposing perspectives, opposing viewpoints. How you really maintain, stay strong, lifting weights. The essence of lifting weights is building your muscle, because you're being met with resistance. That's the only way that you could build strength, internal fortitude, internal spiritual growth, spiritual strength. You will not understand your own strength if you do not, if you're afraid to go against the flow. Now, I understand I have, my own flow. Is similar to, I would say that my own flow, within my own flow, is almost like an undertow. It goes against certain flows and creates a whirlpool that is that can surely make any swimmer an even better swimmer. It's how you handle yourself whenever you're met with resistance, resistive behaviors, resistive, suggestions. If you play right into whatever people are resisting, how are you going to maintain and or evolve your moral, your character, the sanctity of your morals, the sanctity of your essence, the sanctity of your character, if you're so willing to change your stance and rather than meeting resistance head on? That's playing it safe. Rather than the risk of building strength. The Four of Pentacles came in the upright. The reversed meaning can appear if you're reevaluating what's important to you. Now, resistance within mindset would have you reevaluating what's important to you. And if you're willing to reevaluate what's important to you within a notion, you must strengthen your spiritual fortitude. Do not place value on material possessions. Come to the realization that money and things are two different things. Money, there's money. It's more, there's money and there's things. If you're seeking out more love and happiness in your life, instead of utilizing, if you're seeking out more love and happiness in your life, you must be in love with what sets you apart from the society that is going to be a constant resistance and a constant challenge if you cannot maintain your essence and not let it be tainted through people outside of your mind, outside of your truth, what they tell you. You'll have a realization that those are not the instances Those are not the memories. Those are not the lessons. Those are not the things that are going to make you happy. Now, sometimes we make up things in our mind because it sounds good, as it's read. Alright, it's the money that's not going to bring you happiness. You're working towards redefining your relationship with material possessions. It's healthy, especially if you have let the societal implication destroy your moral, spiritual sanctity. All that could be summed up in saying, don't be naive. Realize when you're being naive, when you're being misled. Forgive yourself so you can heal yourself from the misconceptions that you allowed your mind to believe as true, in purifying your energy to re-grasp the essences within your truth that you may have let partialize in holding on to notions that are not true, that money and material success is going to buy you happiness, or is going to buy you love, is going to buy you friendship, or things and stuff and such. That's that is a notion that society may promote to you, and if you're naive, you may fall in line with it, and that's all right. You have to forgive yourself, for being curious, and curious to, maybe if I do, there's an A, then maybe you were curious to feel, more a part of society. Maybe you were curious into, trying to understand human nuances from robots. You cannot in your mind place truth on something that's a lie. It's like watching a movie and admiring the person as the character that they're portraying, and realize not, in being curious and somewhat naive, and not realizing that that's not who the person is. That is an actor playing a role. A role for the movie, a role for that for society. They were hired to portray a character, to appear without intention, though they're actors. That is their job. They're hired to lie to you. They're hired to lie to you and convince you that the sky is not blue. That whenever the sun goes down and the moon comes up, that, that the sky is not dark. If you get caught up in the nostalgia of curiosity, and nostalgia could be perceived as naive if you're not aware how others, or the world outside of your awareness may perceive your words, your actions, your lack of words, lack of actions, things and stuff and such. Do not get caught up in the perception. Rather, forgive yourself and allow yourself to be better. Allow yourself to have the spiritual sanctity to overcome resistance. If you cannot overcome temptation, you're going to struggle with overcoming resistance. Because temptation is not presented to us in a way that we understand that we must fight. It's presented to us in a way that is seemingly innocent. Looks can be deceiving whenever there is underlying intentions that are at play. And you must be aware of this, because it could cost you your life, it could cost you your wealth, it could cost you your moral sanctity, and it could cost you all of the above if you become ignorant and or naive to understanding what resistances are going to appear in your life as temptation. Maybe it's a temptation to be a part of a community. Without question, life is a game. Like life, you become not control of your life if you do not understand how to question, how to best question, and how to best be a force of resistance against the societal resistance that is pushing and nudging instances of maybe you should see life like this, maybe you should see life like this, maybe you should see life like this. Question all of that. Do not question who you are, because truly, question everything. Figure out why they question nothing. That could be an instance of truth to who you are. Maybe everything to you, maybe nothing to somebody else. And so there's a perception of nothing within societal structure. The Knight of Swords popped out. Now, to speak on and make an example of what I mean with everything I just stated, I guarantee you right now, there are at least 10 people that are actively promoting resistance to the truth, the opinion, the idea that I'm sharing. And maybe it is their, question. Is it their job to try to counteract whatever ennyarodasi may mention, speak on, and elaborate? In elaborating, not explaining myself, rather being myself. They don't know how to speak on it, so I'm just gonna say a lot of things that sound good. Apply a lot of things that sound good. Oh, she's crazy. Oh, she's crazy. She needs to brush her hair, or something like that. I don't know. I would say instances to distract you from your purpose. Instances that could distract you from the truth that could be conveyed that, may benefit you on many levels. The Knight of Swords. In the upright. And the Knight of Swords represents ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast thinking. In reverse represents restlessness, unfocused, impulsiveness, burnout. The description of the Knight of Swords shows a knight dressed in armor, charging ahead with great energy on his powerful white horse. The knight's sword is held high, a symbol of his dedication to his purpose and mission. What if the horse is mixed? Is it halfway? Or appearing halfway? The white horse symbolizes the purity of the intellectual energy that motivates the knight. In the background, storm clouds are beginning to form, and the trees bend into the strong winds. The wind doesn't stop the knight, however. He heads directly into it, eager to complete his mission. That's what I'm talking about. The wind doesn't stop the night. The wind shouldn't stop the night. The wind shouldn't have implications. However, he heads directly into it, eager to complete his mission. Characteristic moral sanctity. Hold on to it, because I'm telling you, society will steal, kill, and destroy anything that is pure, anything that is rare, anything that is desirable within the lack, sometimes people, like, alright, the saying that people have noticed that they're more sought out by the opposite sex, or just by people in general, whenever they're in a relationship, as whenever they're not in a relationship, nobody cares. This speaks on the truth that I, utilize as an example that could be relatable to y'all, because it's not until you have something, whether it's something within yourself, there's something about yourself that makes you special, that creates a sense of happiness within your essence, within your being. I've noticed, things in self-touch. I've noticed things in self-touch. Anywhoodles. That does not apply to my my promoted status, yet it has cohesion with truths that played out for me to learn and speak on as truths. Whenever I was in a relationship. And I am in a relationship. I'm in a relationship with myself. Knight of Swords in the upright. As with all knights of the tarot deck, the Knight of Swords is a man or a woman on a mission. Once he has his mind set on something, nothing is stopping him. And as a Swords card, this knight actively uses the power of his intellect to achieve his goals. When the Knight of Swords appears in a tarot reading, it's a sign that you're highly driven, ambitious, and action-oriented. You're so highly motivated to succeed that you'll stop at nothing to pursue your dreams. The challenges, difficulties, and obstacles on the path ahead don't faze you, because you know where you want to go. Move forward with the sheer strength and determination to make things happen. The Knight of Swords suggests that you're quick to take action and tend not to plan ahead, instead preferring to dive right in. You thrive on high levels of energy that propel you forward and inspire you to take action to manifest your goals. The Knight of Swords reminds you to be assertive in getting what you want. He doesn't hang back and wait for something to happen. He's always making the first move and actively pursuing his goals. You can harness this energy in your life you can harness this energy in your life too, within being proactive and forward thinking. See yourself as the creator of your future and be ready to take the necessary steps to make it happen. Downside of the fast-thinking, quick-acting Knight of Swords is that sometimes you act too quickly and haven't thoroughly thought things through. You may be unaware of potential challenges and issues that will stand in your way, or the unintended consequences of your actions. I am speaking of myself. I am likely to distinguish whether I have said something that could be wrong. I am quick to reword or reapproach how I understand challenges, issues, just perception through observation. There could be a downside to fast thinking, quick acting. In my case, I think ahead in spotting out potential challenges, issues that may stand in my way. I measure within that viewpoint the possible unintended consequences of my actions. And sometimes that could be perceived as cutting corners. If you view life that way, I mean, you could realize that I am cutting corners in the way that I'm flying the way of the bird, right? So if a road goes like this, I'd be, flying like that. If a road went like this, I'd be flying like that. Or yeah. The Knight of Swords also represents your need to understand the world from an intellectual point of view. You have well-developed communication skills and can easily form solid arguments and opinions on current affairs and important matters. You love to engage with others who have similar skills so that you can share your ideas and develop new points of view within the already shared perspective. You may be best suited to discussion groups with like-minded individuals where you can fire each other up and motivate one another. We're going to definitely have an episode dedicated to maxing and relaxing and communicating within a group scenario and understanding that my like-minded individuals best suit me as they observe. I know my energy is quite heavy. Our shared energy is quite heavy. Beautifully so. Beautifully so. Beautifully. I'm going to say beautifully so. Beautiful truth. Beautiful truth. Beautiful truth. Beautiful truth. It came in the upright, and the reversed You're growing. In the reverse could represent that you're growing restless and frustrated because you want to take action. And you won't allow something to hold you back. A kid. No. As a matter of fact, we are adulting today. Alright, the last card of the read is the Sun card. The upright represents positivity, fun, warmth, success, and vitality. Reversed represents inner child, feeling down, being overly optimistic. Sun tarot card radiates with optimism and positivity. A large, bright sun shines in the sky, representing the source of all life on earth. Underneath the four sunflowers grow tall above a brick wall, representing the four suits of the minor arcana in the four elements. In the foreground, a young, naked child is sitting on top of a calm white horse. The child represents the joy of being connected with your inner spirit. And his nakedness is a sign that he has nothing to hide and has all the innocence and purity of childhood. The white horse is also a sign of purity and strength within this read. Within that read. Within that read. Let's read how it is represented in the upright on this page. Alright, or on my page. The sun represents success, radiance, and abundance. The sun gives you strength and tells you that no matter where you go or what you do, your positive and radiant energy will follow you and bring you happiness and joy. People are drawn to you because you can always see the bright side. And can bring such a warmth into other people's lives. This beautiful, warm energy is what will get you through the tough times and help you succeed. You are also in a position where you can share your highest qualities and achievements with others. Radiate who you are and what you stand for. Shine your love on those who care about you. If you're going through a difficult time, the sun brings you the message that you've been waiting for. That things will get better, a lot better. Through the challenges along your path, you've discovered who you are and why you're here. Now you're full of energy and zeal through the future. You can already perceive success and abundance flowing to you. You are brimming with confidence because you know everything will work out. It always does. All right, so in remembering that little clip, I would say it forever does. I'm trying to eliminate always from my vocabulary. It's uncouth. It's immature. It is morally unsanctified, like morally unclean. The sun connects you to your power base. Not fear-driven, egotistical power. But not fear-driven, egotistical. Though the abundant inner energy radiating, you'll sense calling you to express your authenticity and be fully present in the world around you. Yeah, because I sense a bunch of fakes. And maybe I've tolerated a bunch of fakes. You're all there. You have what others want. You're being asked to share your energy and your gifts into the world in a big way. Hence, teaching my husband patience. 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 Alright, now's the time to be hasty. No more patient, be hasty now. Be hasty what I say, not what they say. They lying to you. Make haste. For the sanctity of sanctity. The sun connects you. Oh. Alright, wait. And then I already read that. It's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's alright. Make haste. Do something crazy. Do something crazy. Do something crazy. Tap into your power and use your divine will to express that power in positive ways. in speaking on things and stuff and such, maintaining and speaking on maintaining and evolving, I feel as though this episode today has lifted some weight from my spirit and has allowed me to speak on ideas, truths, ideas within my truth, and ideas within the truth that I know to share. Whenever I'm aware that I'm not just speaking on my truth, that it could be interestingly applied truth and knowledge. Been on for 3 hours, 31 minutes. And here recently, I've been reading the time that I have been, or that, looking at the timer of our episode, and then looking up or searching what that would mean in angel numbers. Time is 3:32. Alright, I'm gonna look at 331 and 332. Three, three, one. The 331 angel number is a powerful symbol of divine guidance, protection, and manifestation. It's a combination of the numbers 3 and 1, which represent creativity, communication, self-expression, new beginnings, individuality, and leadership. The message of the angel number 331 is that you should have faith and commitment in your goals, and that the angels are watching over you, ready to provide divine guidance and help if needed. This angelic number will also bring a sense of stability into your life, so that your progress can be maintained even through difficult times. Indicating flexibility, adaptability, fearlessness, happiness, and new opportunities. The message from your angel, number 331, is for you to let go of the hurt from your past by forgiving the wrongs done to you. You would never think that Now we're going to read 332. Three, 332 is a twin flame number. It's an angel number. Angel number 332 is often thought of as a message from the angels regarding twin flames. This number signifies that you're both on the path towards finding each other and aligning with your divine purpose. The angel number 332 is a sign of unconditional love, deep spiritual connection, and understanding between two twin flames. It's an auspicious number that helps and guides to find your twin flame by keeping enough patience by listening to your heart and mind. Angel number 332, also known as the twin flame number, carries a significant significance. It's a number that can assist you if you maintain sufficient patience. Unlocking the meaning of 332. Discover the twin flame. Oh, this site has been reported as unsafe. Alright. This nigga. Sorry, I pop up. I just gotta pop up and it. Alright, it was a pop up. The page wasn't responding. Alright, this number signifies that you're on the right path. Earlier I was joking around. I was like, nigga, please. I was, saying, fix this stuff and such. I just, yeah. So that was a speech lexic moment. I love y'all. Stickity. This number signifies that you're on the right track, and your angels are encouraging you to continue moving forward with your goals and dreams. So I don't share with you guys my goals. My goals are something that it's like my secret. It may also be a reminder. I almost read it might also be a reindeer. Yeah, it's time for dinner. This number signifies that you're on the right track. Angels are encouraging you to continue to move forward. It may be a reminder to maintain a positive attitude. I read it as reindeer. I mean, come on. It was just Christmas. It was just Christmas a few days ago. Trust the universe. Have faith in yourself. And trust your intuition. To overcome obstacles and maintain balance. So the last two angel cards and affirmations that I had pulled at the end of the previous episode that I kept on the desk as a reminder to re-mention, because I had felt a significance. It's curiosity and forgiveness. Maybe a call to others to forgive past, because it might have been a time of curiosity. It can come as a shocker to you that just because some people or certain people don't change, I don't change, I remain the same. Though through life experience, I am not bound to my past decisions, my past curiosity. Because I've learned my lessons. So, before asking forgiveness, or speaking on forgiveness, you must realize that I've forgiven myself. I've struggled to forgive myself. And you're honest, you didn't do things and stuff and such. And that's my truth. So you can hold me to my past actions. You could be wrong. Or you can believe that one learns and grows. As far as curiosity is concerned, I may appear curious is because I have maintained nostalgia in how I view the world, similar as through the eyes of a child. Discovering a never-ending source of happiness and excitement within my true essence and who I am. Forgiveness allows you to deeper hone in on unconditional love. And realizing that is the most gentle, protective, and fortified love within our definition. I could understand the arousal of concern, arousal of curiosity, if you didn't understand how my unconditional love, though not previously spoken, within time of recollection and time of really being able to hone in on certain energies that may have always been present within my life. That's something very special and exciting. And I have to forgive myself for my past portrayals of the unconditional love that I have. The card that I pulled is Archangel Zadkiel. 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 Archangel Zadkiel will help you find tolerance and forgiveness. He works on the violet ray of purification and transmutation, helping you to release unstiggity vibrations and ascend to a better way of being. Angel wisdom suggests that you visualize yourself in the violet flame and invoke Archangel Zadkiel to help you. Face your troubles and difficult relationships within the flame so that all negativity is transmuted. You are blessed to have drawn this card today, for it indicates that you're ready to walk the path. Affirmations: I am cleansed within the violet flame. Divine! Divine. Up, Vibe Tribe! It's been another successful episode. And another successful day shared. Another successful holiday shared. Happy New Year's. And happy day. From your favorite friendly friend-entertainer, Stiggity Motivator, with the vibes that are greater. Till next time. So much love. As a matter of fact, much. I hope you have enjoyed your flight. Love you, bye.